Morgan, Texas. We truly appreciate being invited to this community event for KPFT. We thank Alfonso and his program under the Son Pacifica, under the umbrella of all the Hispanic programmers. We're calling our segment the Death Row Poetry. We are the voice for the voiceless. At this time, to tie it together, we all fight the same enemy, y'all, and we know what that enemy is. It's the U.S. government, and we fight them, unfortunately, through death row. At this time, we have 10 or 12 guys that are non-citizens on death row. Most of them are from Mexico. We have some from Honduras, a couple from El Salvador, and our latest guy, Obel Cruz Garcia from Puerto Rico, who's an innocent guy. We are presenting 5 poets today, and I am so honored to have a couple of guys, 3 of them in fact, from KPFT to read the men's poetry. The first one up will be Perry Williams, and to read his poetry will be Chris Gatlin, aka Mr. Fun Guy, who runs Pure Vibes. At what time, Chris? 2 to 5 a.m. on what night? Wednesday, and that's some good music, y'all. Our second poetry will be read by Mr. Henry Cooper from Project. Thank you, and I am eternally grateful to him and Alma who invited me. And when is your program?
It's Tuesday from 9 to 10. The name is Proyecto Latinoamericano.
Tuesday from 9 to 10. And then our third poet is OBDK, who's the interim general manager of KPFT, and we totally appreciate him. So without any further ado, Mr. Chris.
Have not forgotten a strong piece of their humanity, and they've chosen to express that with us with their words of poetry. So I definitely am honored to Miss Pat, KPFT, and to all of you who have come out to support this event for KPFT. So without any further ado, I will say that Mr. Perry Williams Jr. photo is here if you want to come up and see him closely prior to me reading the words. His face is here, but his words have been etched in stone on this paper for us to enjoy. So the first piece I'll read from Perry it's entitled An Ultimate Reality, and he says that this came to him while on death row and he was waiting to be executed, yet he still saw the beauty and greatness of death, because we don't really die, in his words, we're only transformed. So this piece is entitled An Ultimate Reality. The time has come for me to end this journey, for dust to set from dawn. No tears shed, why should there be? When I'm going home to the universe where my soul can meditate and be set free. It's all right to miss me, but not for long, because I'll be reborn. So reflect on the cipher we've built. With the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of a supreme being, my soul is reborn into your ultimate reality. One from Perry. I just read that one. Very powerful. And this is one that he penned. I know that I'm just stunned and honored always too, just because I say they're locked in cages. We often think that the crime you commit is what you're going to be stuck with for life, and these gentlemen are on death row and they're still finding the time to share their beauty of life with us. And so this next piece is entitled Closure. This poem, he says, was written to help someone pause and think about the life they're living and the consequences that can come about from that life, while at the same time being remorseful and bringing light to a life that was lost. So I know he was feeling a bit remorseful when he penned this piece right here. This is entitled Closure. It didn't take long to get to my resting place. It wasn't until death row found me, backed into a dead street called Capital Murder Case. A case that was the result of a pointless desired treasure. But when a man lost his life, the last thing I felt was pleasure. I can't justify my actions, and now I face dire ramifications. I wasn't raised to hurt others, much less being with someone who kills without hesitation. I'm not by any means an inspiration, and do not want to be viewed as such by others, but I pray that others learn from my mistakes and see that Matthew was a precious son, someone's brother. I ask God for healing and closure for the people I've caused so much pain, and even if I must die for my actions, I hope they can see the sun shining after the rain. There's hope for better days. I just pray that love conquers hate. But now that if you have lived by the gun, you'll be judged and possibly murdered by the state. Closure.
Antes de que Henry tome el micrófono, hay algo que una persona que es una gran activista colombiana en nuestra comunidad también me comentó, que es el aislamiento que muchos de estos presos tienen y que la poesía o el escribir ha sido una de las vetas que los ha mantenido vivos. Y creo que es algo muy importante de también saber, sobre todo antes de que Henry lea lo que alguien, sabiendo su fecha de muerte y ese aislamiento que puede ser el estar en una prisión, escribe.
Buenas tardes. El poema se llama Tentado, Tempted en inglés. Encerrado en una celda de cemento, iluminado por luz de tubos, aún así las tinieblas invaden. Constantemente amenazan con aplastarme. Aire es bombeado hacia adentro, aún así me estoy sofocando. Cada suspiro me es forzado. La muerte murmura en mi oreja: ¿por qué es que te esfuerzas? Ven a mí y te consolaré. Por un momento detengo mi respiración, tentado, miro en el espejo y un par de ojos café oscuros aparecen frente de mí llorosos, y otro sueño desaparece y desaparece salpicando para siempre perdido. De nuevo la muerte murmura: ven, y se me acerca para darme ese último abrazo de consuelo. Al fondo de esos ojos, un alma grita: ¡alto! No escuches a esa bastarda lengua engañosa. Tengo nuevos sueños, y aún tengo esperanzas, y aún he de encontrar mi leyenda. Y nuevamente respiro, y continúo en el esfuerzo de soñar, de tener esperanza, de amar, de vivir.
And I am honored to participate in this event, and I want to thank the programmers who came together and made this possible. Pat, thank you for asking me to participate. Garland Harper was a young man who grew up in Sunnyside, Texas, and because of various things we go through in this life, he is where he is. The first poem I'm reading by him is called Fess Up. And I'm going to tell you how and why he wrote this poem. When I put pen to paper, giving life to this poem, it was an indictment on all who hold closely to their breast the prejudices and the bigotry mindset against people of color, namely African Americans. It is not to promote black nationalism or ideals associated with these agendas. It is directed at those who straddle the fence depending on the company they entertain. There are those who claim not to be racist, but who are eager to accept my money or an organ I donated. Yet, they would never do the same with me or for me. If you unscramble America, it reads, I am race. Without our blood, sweat, tears, and consumer buying power, America is not, as we are just as much as American-made as anything in America. Fess up. The whole world knows you've messed up. Do yourself some justice and fess up. Admit your guilt, don't hide the blame. Placing your hands on your hips, you should be ashamed. I know I would be if I pretended to be something I only wanted you to see. But that's something of another. You'd have to have a conscience to utter the truth in the role you played expeditiously. In the slave trade, you did it in ignorance. That's your claim. That's what you say. Well, let's make it public information to set the record straight. Don't tell me you're sorry. I know what I know. Make your confession to the world. Stop putting on a show. Playing make-believe, pretending and acting all naive. You've got to get naked because you're known for having something up your sleeve. This next poem is entitled, Now You Can Listen to Me. This poem is a challenge. It came to me from an experience I had in the 9th grade when I transferred from Worthing High School in Sunnyside to Madison High School in Hiram Clark. This was something of a culture shock as I went from sharing classrooms with 99.9% black students to multicultural classrooms. The students were kids, just like myself. However, the teachers were different. Growing up, I would always ask lots of questions. Who, what, when, where, and how were the words that flowed freely off my tongue. I mean, I asked lots of questions because I really wanted to know. Because of this character flaw, which I still have today, I've observed every facial expression and negative body language that the human being can produce as long as they speak the English language. When I asked one teacher if I could ask a question, she stated if it was important. I asked my question and she replied to me that my question was not important. I answered, not important to you. So if you want to talk, you should be willing to listen. Now you can listen to me. What's with all the kinesiology? Is it something I've said that went over your head, offended you? Was it true? I can only speak on what's inside of me. Maybe we see things differently. I am all about others. We all come from mothers that populate the world, no matter the culture. Your mother could have been mine if mine had not had the time. It's all about the future and realization that civilization is preserved. So watch your mannerism if you come in peace, because you can offend those you want to hear your piece.
When she first approached me about doing this project, one of the first pieces I read was from this young man, Terrence Anderson, and instantaneously I was struck by his poetic nature. I know I keep saying this, but yes, these individuals are on death row. It seems impossible, but somehow he has kept some sense of connection to what it means to have and to see beauty in life. And that's always surprising to me, because we are so busy in our own personal lives that we sometimes stop to see the beauty, the basic beauty in life. And so for him to share these words, these projects, these pieces are so profound to me. So this is his first one, Gone But Not Forgotten. And I'll tell you how he came to this piece in his own words. The poem Gone But Not Forgotten was generated after 1 year on being on the Texas death row and being subjected to the close proximity of living and bonding with his fellow brothers. In the struggle, he says, in addition to having to bear a heart-wrenching burden and subject to the murdercutions, he says. I love that word for executions. He called them murdercutions. I do love that by the state of Texas. Yes, I love these words, and so they're so poetic. So he came to Gone But Not Forgotten. The poem begins, as the sun cascades into a lightless oblivion, retreating into the wakes of a voiceless foot falling. The shadow of its beauty is for evermore a retained exhibition, gone but not forgotten. Sprouting into spring, dreading the dew of its of its to be sprung on layers in the midst of its colorful witherings, raining in the leaves and befalling the petals, the sun finalizes its beauty from the blossoming. The leap into such quality may be gone, but not forgotten. Such beauty, swimming to be the forethought on the bank of my memories, fighting the tides of time, just afloat, images sinking, but regaining consciousness with the help of constrained emotions. The essence of reminiscence may be gone, but not forgotten. The last person's glimpse, the defeated smiling faces, radiant by far in their walk to death, thrown behind my eyes and labeled a favorite catch, a brother, my fellow human being, led away to death's awakening, but still remains living in the seas of gone but not forgotten. I'm going to channel my own self in their words, and so I'm just trying to be very to them. So this one is entitled Black Rose, The Black Rose. I love this piece. Rising through chip paint, rusty doors, stained, steel, and cracked floors, the black rose for an encore. Rooted by tears and spoiled dreams, the soil of being deemed unenviable for life's theme, yet blossomed the rose that has risen, nurtured by the rays of hope on the horizon, a fellow petal's guidance, and the pose of nature's elegance. Such beauty through the concrete and steel, a black rose is living in spite of existing. The Black Rose.
Is read, I want to give a spiel for the prison show. It's one of the longest running shows on KPFT. It is for the prisoners and for the prisoners' families. It's on from 9 o'clock till 11 o'clock every Friday night. The first hour, we present news that the general population and death row can use. I share the 10 minutes every other week with Mr. Dave Atwood. He does the death penalty news, and I do the death row news. The second hour from 10 to 11, we have families call in. There's a transformer just close to Huntsville just for the reason so these families can call in to their loved ones. There's over 140,000 prisoners on death, in TDC. 250 of them are on death row. Our last poem will be read by OBDK. It's by a close friend of mine, Mr. Eugene Broxton. He's an older man. He's an innocent man. He was convicted out of Channelview. He has been on death row since 1992, I believe. And he wrote a poem called Judge Ye Not. It's a powerful, powerful poem, and I often read this one at executions too. Mr. OBDK.
Eugene Broxton has been on death row since September 18, 1992, innocent and convicted twice by all white juries. I spend my days reading, writing poetry, and making origami. I do not write as much as I used to since my health is failing. When I did write, I wrote from the heart and my inner soul. Please look to your inner soul when you are reading the poetry. And this poem is named Judge Ye Not. And of course, this is a religious truth that goes back to the Bible and beyond, asking others to judge, not that ye not be judged. Judge ye not. Have you walked in the shoes of the person you judge? Have you shared their most intimate thoughts? Have you known of the tears, the doubts, and the fears, or the battles that person has fought? Have you shared in the secrets that lie in the heart? When they don't understand, they condemn offhand. But trusting in me, your eyes confide, holding nothing, telling no lies. Then suddenly I was startled at my own reflection. Your eyes mirrored my imperfection. So who was I at? Who did I really see? Was it you, or was it me? Or am I you, and you are me? Program is for supporting KPFT, and get your friends and your colleagues to listen. listen and to become members. Thank you very much.
I want to thank everybody for listening to the poetry. I want to invite you to listen to the prison show every Friday night starting at 9 o'clock. And we as a society are the true voice of the voiceless. Don't ever forget that.